If you like betting on horses, be sure to check out wagertalk.com's own Sig, who zeroes on one racetrack at a time, offering his handicapping skills. Visit his homepage daily for his top selection in each race free. If you want all his selections for that track, you can get his full racing report for just $9.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome in right here to Wager Talk TV. It is time for another episode of Puck Time. Before we get started on today's show, I just want to give a message to all of you viewers, and I know I do this quite often, but I think it's rightfully so. All of the comments you guys have left over the past couple of days, hitting the like button, tuning in live, we really, really do appreciate it. If we don't get to you guys in the comment section, reply back to your comments. I just want you to know it is appreciated. We do really see those comments, and it means a whole lot to us. And I think you guys have really been with us all year long. Carmine and I have been red hot in the NHL over the past several weeks, a few months here. I'll speak for myself. I had a really horrible start to the year, and you guys are loyal viewers. You guys stuck with us for the entire season, and we really, really do appreciate you guys. So just wanted to say that real quick. Happy to have Marco D'Angelo joining us here on today's Friday show, my favorite American co-founder of Wager Talk. So that's going to be great to have Marco on for, I believe, his second appearance on Puck Time. But Carm, I'll throw it to you, man, my co-host. We went 2-0 yesterday on our best bets, man. Let's do it again today.
Yeah, listen, and I hope if Johnny Detroit's watching this right now, I think Johnny's a co-founder as well, too, and he's American. So I might have to send him a clip. Producer, get me a clip of this one. But yeah, listen, we appreciate everyone who tunes in. Our season is coming to a close soon, but the playoffs are around the corner. We will do a NHL playoff preview to give you guys some more content. I try and get into the comment section all the time if I can, and on our Puck Time account. And I've got a little thing that I'll mention towards the end of the show. I'm going to give away another. That's going to be two retro jerseys, NHL retro jerseys. I'll tell you how you can get that one. That's kind of tied into Andrew and I. And our NHL playoff packages. But Andrew, first of all, congratulations, man. A 5% winner yesterday. Absolutely killed it. Boston Bruins, regulation time. I had that one as well. That was the plus side of my day. I didn't like the other games. They just, they're terrible. And we'll talk about goalies in a second, but we have to bring in one of my favorite people to have on this show. We have to have him on more often. Love hanging with him when I'm in Vegas. Marco D'Angelo. Marco, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Carmine. And tell the truth, the only reason you like hanging with me is I know all the good restaurants. Let's be honest.
Yeah, listen.
That is true, though, isn't it, Marco? It is true, I heard. I mean, you write for a magazine? I mean, that's...
Yeah. Marco, listen, I know you're a really busy guy, and as an appreciation for you showing up today, I went out and I got you some cannoli. They're right here. I'm not sure if you can see them.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's just wrong.
You're not here. You're not here to enjoy them right now. So I'm going to have them for you, and I'll let you guys talk for a while.
What's new with you, Marco? Yeah, very classy, very classy. What's new with you, though, Marco? How are things, man?
Things are good. Busy time. We got all the sports going on. Triple Crown horse racing going right now. We're in the middle of that 5-week run, but. Speaking of runs, guys, I know this is a hockey show, but I got to give myself a shameless plug, and that's been my NBA, guys. I am having probably the best NBA season of my 40-plus year career, and we're currently on a 31-10 run with the NBA, so it's been good. I don't got my plays up yet. Unfortunately, with the NBA this year, you can't really put plays up overnight because they don't put lines up. Got to wait and confirm these lineups and everything. But being patient has paid dividends for me. So you can look for my NBA later today.
Lots of respect for that, Marco, because like you said, right now, you can't give out overnight NBA. You don't know who's playing like 3 hours before the game starts, let alone before, overnight. So, and if you guys are looking at Marco's plays, Marco, I got to give you some credit. Someone complimented you about it on Twitter. And I know that you put a lot of effort into your write-ups. I've read some of your write-ups. Hats off to you, man, because you're not just putting out 1 or 2 lines and saying, hey, go bet this team. If somebody buys your plays, you're giving them a great, write-up analysis. So genuinely, hats off to you, Marco. I enjoy reading your work, and I've learned from it myself, honestly. So good stuff with that.
I appreciate that, Andrew. And I actually say, people always ask the question, why should I pay for picks? And, everybody's different. But, what I say with my picks is, yeah, you get my play, you get an analysis, but I also give you the angles that I have covered on those games. So to me, it's like buying a mini handicapping lesson every day from me. Not only do you get the plays, but I told you why and how I got to that. So I think there's great value there. And if you want to learn, that's the way to do it. And I hate to do this, but I'll give a little plug to our site. Go and look, and you can read analysis from everybody the day after, or actually that night after the game start. You can see why everybody had the plays they had. It's a great tool to learn if you want to, get better at your craft of handicapping games.
Absolutely. Well, today's games, guys, we'll try and find some winners for you on today's card. We're going to start things off. Go down the horn and tell you guys what games we're going over today. It's going to be the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Washington Capitals, the Blues at the Knights, Avalanche and Kings, and the Ducks and the Minnesota Wild. Marco, I'm going to start with you because I don't know if Carm is still, filling his belly over there. So I'll start with you with the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Is there a play that intrigues you in this game?
Yeah, I look at this game, and I'll talk brief about it right now, Andrew, because it is going to be my best bet for the show. But Dallas is coming in here. They're slumping badly. They've lost 5 in a row. And if you look at those 5 games in a row, the losing streak, they've only scored 7 goals total in those 5 games. That's a big problem, especially when you consider 4 of the goals were in one game. So this is a team that just cannot find the back of the net, and it's hard to back a team like that. You're paying for it with the price with Tampa. But I will say this on Tampa, they're peaking at the right time, guys. They've won 6 of their last 7 as we prepare for the playoffs and their quest to defend the Stanley Cup title from last year. I will have a play on this later in the show. Lean to Tampa in this one, but I will tell you that my best bet is going to be on the total, and I'll give that at the end of the show.
All right, lean to Tampa. We'll grab Marco's best bet, though, at the end of the show. All of our best bets, Carmine and myself, will have best bets for you guys at the end of the show. But Carmine, to Marco's point, they heated up at the right time. People use the saying Stanley Cup hangover or championship hangover. But as you often say, it doesn't really matter how you start, but how you finish. And right now, this team heading into the playoffs is looking really, really, really strong. And the Dallas Stars, they did not have strength of schedule. Their strength of schedule is a weakness of schedule. They have played Carolina, Florida, now Tampa Bay. They've had some tough competition, and all of that competition has been up to their top game. So I'm going to play Tampa Bay in regulation here. Not going to think twice about it. And I have a small lean to the under because, to Marco's point, this Dallas team can't score.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you wholeheartly. And to Marco's point, the one play you have to make here if you're taking it is the Lightning. The Stars have a 3.6% chance of making the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. Nashville's pretty much got that locked up. It'd have to be a weird series of events to happen. The one thing that I was really looking forward to as far as making the Lightning a play here was the fact that, and I talked about it on the previous show with regards to the Lightning and the Stars game, was Vasilevsky in net. Now, he was originally expected to be the starter today. I see that it's been updated, while not confirmed, that it might be Curtis McElhinney now. I'd rather see Vasilevsky in there, and I'll actually wait on that to see. Vasilevsky 18-2 at home, 1.75 goals against average, .936 save percentage against the Dallas Stars. He's played every single game against the Stars this season. He's 6-1 with a 1.49 goals against average and a .943 save percentage. That is absolutely through the roof numbers with them. And then I mentioned the Stars. They're 5-18 against the top 3 teams in this division. If you can't beat the top 3 teams, you don't deserve to be in that 4th spot in the playoffs. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with the goalies. But I do know that Saturday and Monday, Tampa plays against Florida, and that will decide the number 2 seed. The number 2 seed in this division. So I thought it would be Vasilevsky today, Curtis McElhinney tomorrow, and then Vasilevsky on Monday, with the thought being give Vasilevsky at least an extra day's rest before we head into the playoffs and not playing back-to-back against Florida. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And guys, Andrew talked about on Twitter, take some stock on goalies and backup goalies. Look at last night, Edmonton Oilers, Koskinen. First 4 shots on net, he allowed all 4 shots. I don't think that's ever happened in an NHL game where a goalie allows 4 goals on his first 4 shots. And then Caden Primo for Montreal. The Leafs absolutely lit him up in the first period. Goaltenders are an important part of your handicapping. They should be. So with that said, I like the Lightning. I'll like him even more if it's Vasilevsky in net.
Are we back? Sorry, Carm. I had some technical problems. My fault.
Yep, we're back.
All right, guys. I apologize about that. Our next game, marquee matchup, Philadelphia Flyers, Washington Capitals. And I'm going to go right back to you, Carm, with this one. And I'm looking at this one from mainly a total standpoint. But when I look at this game, I look at the teams the Flyers have played recently, the emotional games that they had. You look at who they played, as far as the Pittsburgh series even, one game was a blowout for one team, one game was a blowout for the other. And the Capitals coming off that really emotional game a couple nights ago. It was filled with fights. There was, a lot of penalty minutes, but they still got the job done. So although there was emotion, although there was fighting, although there was a distraction, they still got the job done. Capitals are minus 180 here. We knew there was going to be a high total in this game, Carm. I'm just curious how you feel about this over, because I can't look any other way but going over the total between these two teams. It seems to me with the Philadelphia Flyers, they're either getting scored on in bunches or they're scoring in bunches right now. And all the stats point towards it, not just on a small sample, but a large sample. They are a team leading the NHL in overs on the year. And I don't really feel like going any other way.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And these 6.5s, we don't really like taking them. You like the 6 because you have the somewhat that insurance of a push if it lands on that 4-2 type game, which we saw in that New York game. I thought in talking about that one, I thought it would that the Caps lane minus 130, minus 135 in that game was the better play than the total. With regards to this, Caps are 5-1. The over is 5-1, and that's even to this number of 6.5. There have been 7 or more goals scored in those games. I'm looking at this in a couple different ways. One is going to be my show best bet, and I'll talk about that at the end. But the Caps have scored over 3.5 goals in 5 of the 6 games against 5 of 6 games against the Flyers. The other game was a 3-1 win, so they were right there. The team total here for Washington is 3.5 with minus 130 on the over. That's where I'm going to go here because I'm expecting a Caps win. This is an important game to the Caps. Essentially, if they win out, they have the number 1 seed in this division. They can't afford to drop any points because the Bruins are in a position where if the Caps drop any points and the Bruins win out, which includes facing Washington on the final in their final game of the season, that the Bruins could take over that number 1 spot in the division. So big game for the Caps. Flyers are playing out their season. I'll take the Caps, but I'll take the team total instead.
I love that. I love that, Carm. I love those team totals. You're getting a team that was at minus 175, 180, now getting their team total over, like you said, at a minus 130 price. Great bet, in my opinion. And Marco, first of all, I'll see if you agree with that team total, but do you agree in not just letdown spots, but I mean, Philadelphia, they beat Pittsburgh. They didn't just beat them, they dominated them. Sometimes teams get up for certain games more than others. They got up for that game. The next game, they didn't fare so well. But do you think their bellies might be full from that nice win against Pittsburgh? And, that's kind of it for the season? Because to Carmine's point, this game means a whole lot more to one team versus the other.
Oh, absolutely, Andrew. And when we do one of the games later in the show, you're going to see me talking, at length about situational handicapping and teams being up or down for a particular opponent. But you're dead on. Philadelphia, that was a satisfying win against the Penguins. There's no love lost between those two teams, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. I think over the last few years, I mean, even though it's a big rivalry in state and everything, it's a bigger rivalry for Philadelphia's side than the Pittsburgh side, because as far as playoffs have gone, the rivalry with Pittsburgh over the last several years in the runs has been Pittsburgh and Washington. Seems to be a bigger rivalry to me. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. And if you look at the total here, we're looking at a Philadelphia team. This is a team that we're saying this is a game they're not going to be interested in because where they're at playoff-wise and coming off the big game. Well, if you look at what they've been doing, they're not playing good hockey right now. They've lost 4 of their last 5. But look at the 4 losses, guys. They're getting lit up. 6, 5, 4, 7 goals. Not a good situation. Washington coming off a physical game the other night. A lot of side notes to that game, obviously, from the opening drop of the puck. So this is one where I agree with the over. Also agree with Washington in this one. If you're going to look at a side, here's a little quirky stat for you. And I know whenever I talk about sometimes days of the week, people go, that's so random. No, it's not. The better teams have a tendency, in my opinion, to play better on the weekends. They're playing, bigger crowds, livelier crowds. A Friday night game, I think there might be a little more alcohol consumed at a game than, say, a Monday night or a Tuesday night work night game. And Washington, over the last 2 seasons, they've played 19 times on Fridays. They're 16-3 guys on Fridays, okay? That's, a stat that's, I'm not going to overlook it. I'm not going to make a play based solely on it, but it adds to, what you're looking at. And as far as Carm's play with the over 3.5 on the team total, yeah, that's another way to get yourself into play with Washington at a cheaper price. And as far as the total goes, Philadelphia coming off a high-scoring game last time out. Well, over the last 2 seasons, if they were involved in a game where there are 8 goals or more, in the very next game, they're 16-4 to the over once again. So I agree with the over in this one, and lean to Washington. Agree with the Carmine's over on the team total. So you got a lot of different ways to attack this one.
Well, let's get some goals, guys. That's what it sounds like to me. Let's get some goals for the Washington Capitals. That sounds good to me. Marco, I want to follow up on what you said about the days of the week, because I agree with you, and I think that it's important for everybody out there, because we know there's certain websites out there that provide stats like that. And to your point, I'm a big situational handicapper, just like yourself. Look for great letdown or bet on spots for teams. And I think it's important that, we're not just auto betting, okay, this team's great on Fridays, let's bet them, but asking ourselves why. And it's a really good point, because I think that you see a lot of the poor teams have great starts to the week, but the really strong teams will play a full 7 days. They'll finish off their week on a good note. So I think that it's not just about, looking at this one stat, but asking yourself really why, right?
Absolutely. And when you're looking for live dogs and you talk about teams starting the week off good, I think the dogs have the better shot early in the week. You're a good team. You're coming off a big weekend series against maybe one of your rivals, and then you're on the road on a Tuesday night or a Monday night, against a lesser foe. It's easy to mail it in. I know these guys are athletes, and we forget that, yeah, they're athletes first, but at the end of the day, when they go to bed, the old saying, they take their pants off and put them on the same way we do. They might just be nicer pants, but they're human beings like us, and we've all been known to mail it in. We don't bring the same intensity every single day, 365 days a year. So the job is to try to find those spots where a team might have a letdown. And that's why situational handicapping to me is so important, because I always say statistics are great, but statistics don't live and breathe. They're an average of the whole season, but those players don't play at the same level every single night. And if you can find a spot where a team is highly motivated or possibly looking past the team, that's when you find the value that is not baked in there with the statistics.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I didn't play any type of sport yesterday, and I still need this to keep me going, and a little bit of coffee to get my day started. So we all need a little jump. But our next game, guys, is the Blues and the Golden Knights. Just a few tidbits I wanted to say about this game is that It's a stat and kind of a theory I've been using. These top teams, when teams play, Colorado, Vegas Golden Knights, they're going over the total. When Vegas plays, when teams like the Blues and the Minnesota Wild, when they play the bottom feeders of this division, I'm talking about LA, talking about even like teams like Arizona, they're going under the total. But when they play a top tier team like the Vegas Golden Knights, I think it's 9-2 the last 11 games against a team with a winning record, but more specifically against a team like Vegas or Colorado, we're seeing this Blues team not able to just slow things down, not able to play their style of hockey. They just can't do it. I mean, Vegas has 3 lines that will come after you, and I know they have great goaltending, but the problem with Vegas, or the good thing about Vegas, is that all of their defensemen are great puck-moving defensemen. Even Alex Pietrangelo doesn't just hold back and protect his own end. He pushes the puck up the ice. So I'm looking at the over in this game. But you got to look at this here, guys. Our line change is only 10 cents here, plus 130, actually 15 to plus 145. The Blues have been a barking dog for quite some time now over the past 2 weeks. And Prez has talked about this numerous times. They were injured throughout a large portion of this season, guys. So we never really got to see the actual Blues team in action, the full, real Blues roster. And now because of that, we're getting them at some great dog prices to end this season off. I'm curious, Carm, what you think about this matchup here. What have you thought about them recently? Because we haven't really talked about them too much on this show, but they're playing the top dog here, the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, it's tough because if the Golden Knights were playing like they were maybe a week and a half ago or a couple of weeks ago, where they were piling up wins, I'd feel a lot more confident with them. I still think they win this game. It's an important game for them because, in all essence, this could be a first-round preview. We know that. It could be a first-round preview. If the Blues actually win tonight against the Golden Knights, then it might not be a first-round preview because it's going to give Colorado a chance to win out if Vegas drops any points. Colorado wins out, including that one game that they play against Vegas, and they'll take over top spot. It's still Vegas's division to lose. But the games between these teams have been lopsided, Andrew, for the most part. You're seeing 5-1 and 6-1 score lines. And Vegas went to St. Louis and beat them, I think, by I think it was a 5 or 6-1 score line. Lost a couple nights later, 3-1. And that's in and around the time where the Blues actually started to put their almost like their playoff run together, where they strung together a bunch of very good wins. Vegas had 51 shots in that game against the Blues and lost 3-1. Vegas does put up a lot of shots normally. I think we're going to see some goals tonight. I think due to the fact that the Blues now are not making a push for the playoffs, they are in the playoffs. Technically, they are in the playoffs. The Arizona cannot catch them. The Kings would have to win out, while St. Louis would have to lose every single game in order for the Kings to make the playoffs. That's not going to happen. So the Blues are pretty much locked into the 4th spot there. Is there a letdown once you know you're in the playoffs and you've been playing playoff hockey for the last 2 weeks? Possibly. With that said, I think there's going to be goals. I agree with you on this one. I'm not going to touch the side, even though I think Vegas is a better team. I'll look for some goals tonight.
Overs 8-1-1 last 10 meetings, and the Blues have gone over quite a few times as an underdog on the year. Marco, can we make it a clean sweep here with our thoughts?
Well, if I was playing the game, obviously I would not be playing the under in this game given the history. But I'm going to talk about the situational spot. And, you were talking about it in the last game, and this is the game that it applies the most, Andrew. And if they played this game 10 times, the Vegas Golden Knights would win probably 7 or 8 of the 10 games. However, this is one of those spots where they are in a very bad situation. Following the Golden Knights the way I do, just before we went on air, Carm was asking me if I've gone to any games, and that I am a season ticket holder. Actually, Brian and I share tickets for the Golden Knights, so we follow the Knights closely. Their last game was an absolute monumental game for the Golden Knights for several reasons. One, it pretty much solidified them getting the top seed, which was a big issue. More so because they wanted to avoid having to play Minnesota in the first round. Minnesota is a team that has been a nemesis to the Golden Knights throughout the whole franchise. And this year it's been a nightmare for the Golden Knights when they go there. And you guys know I'm a big Marc-Andre Fleury fan, as good as he has been in his career. And even before he came to Vegas, he has struggled when he's played Minnesota. And 2 games ago, the Knights had the game won. They went to the third period up 2, finally get that monkey off their back in Minnesota. And what happened? They had a third period meltdown and lost the game. They came back the next night again, a battle, and Minnesota ties it up. And here we go again with the Golden Knights. They ended up pulling it out in overtime. That was a satisfying win for them just because of everything involved with the standings, but more so heading into the playoffs, the psyche of knowing, hey, now we can win in Minnesota. We got that out of the way. I think this is a dangerous flat spot for the Golden Knights tonight. I am not going to get involved. I'm a big fan of the Knights. I will be rooting for St. Louis if they pull off the upset tonight, because then it would set up a monster revenge play in the next game. That's where I would jump in with both hands on the Vegas Golden Knights. So caution on taking the Knights on what looks like an easy win on paper tonight. But go ahead and if they do lose tonight, I'm giving you a play for the weekend to jump on the Golden Knights.
And Marco, that's what's been really cool about this season is that we can do that and look forward to the following games. And we're seeing teams play each other not once, not twice, sometimes even 3 times in a row, even 4 times in a row sometimes. So I think it's interesting. I think that it's a great point, and it's also a great plus price if you are interested in looking at this Blues team. Carm, I want to go to you first for our dumper chase segment with the Colorado Avalanche and the Kings. But since Marco is on the show, I know we have talked about these in the past. I wanted to mention Colorado, Marco, 8-0 Friday run. An 8-0 run for them on Fridays and a 7-0 run to the under on Fridays, if that means anything to anybody. But hey, this is a strong team, and they seem to get it done consistently. But I guess on the weekend as well, they're minus 290. Kings are plus 235. Carm, first of all, it just seems to me like the Kings, they get up for games against the Avalanche. If I'm looking at the Avalanche right now, I'm looking at this game being high scoring, looking at potentially a team total or a full game over in this game. And also that stat that I always mention, a team coming off a game where they scored just 2 goals, they have been dominant when that's happened. So I'm looking at the Avalanche here, but I'm not going to force a play on the side. Looking at a play on the over in this game. I think the Kings will get up for this game.
Yeah, they look pretty good, the Kings, last couple of games, scoring wise, but you have to look at the opponents. Again, it's one of those things. These teams have only played 4 times this year, with the Avalanche winning 3 of the 4 games. So they're going to play 4 times, basically a couple times this weekend, and then 2 to end the season. And in between is that game with Colorado and Vegas sandwiched in between. And as I was just writing in the chat while you guys were talking, Vegas does not have the division sewn up. They are 4 points up on Colorado, having played 1 game more. If Colorado wins out because of the tiebreakers, Colorado wins the division. So with that said, 4 games against LA aren't slam dunks. We see it all the time, guys. They're not slam dunks. So I don't want to lay 290. And I tell you this, guys, this time in the chat all the time when people are asking, why are you taking totals instead of sides? I'm not putting my money on a 290. I may look at a regulation line bet. I may look at a puck line bet with the Avs. I think the Avs are going to win. I believe the better play is probably to take the total here because we're going to see some goals.
All right, we're on the same page as far as that goes. Marco, we talked a lot of situational stuff, but I think it's fun to talk about that with you because I think you and I share quite a few opinions as far as that stuff goes. The Avalanche, they played the Sharks 4 straight times, Marco, and I was telling people to stay away from them on that 4th game. When you beat a team 3 straight times and not just beat them, but you kind of tell them who's boss, you might not have that same energy for the 4th game. And they didn't. They lost that game. They looked very flat. but I feel like they will come out off a loss and kind of feel rejuvenated, fresh team to play, fresh meat, so to speak, and get the job done. So I like the Avalanche here to get the job done. Not sure how I'd approach it, but I do like the over as well.
All right. Well, I want to know, Andrew, how did you get my notes? Did you tap in there? Because the first paragraph of my notes on this game is throw out Colorado's last game, and it was just for that reason. The San Jose game, playing the Sharks 4 straight games, and you dominated and won the first 3. That was one of those situations where, like we said, I feel Colorado mailed the game in. They thought they just had to show up and they were going to win a game. And when you let a big underdog hang around, the further it goes in the game, they get confidence. San Jose tied it up late and then ended up getting the win and holding on and beating them. So now you are going to get a focused team in Colorado tonight, and all the reasons that, Carm mentioned for them with the playoffs. And if there was going to be a flat spot, maybe that flat spot comes tomorrow night if they get an easy win tonight, because they would have that showdown with Vegas on deck to look ahead to. But it's all Colorado tonight. Now, I'm not going to lay, as Carm said, I'm not going to lay the 260, 270, whatever this game gets to. But what I will look at, if I'm going to play this game, the situation would be is if I do anything, I'll throw it in a money line parlay. And I know that you're still laying the same price. Yes, I am, but I'm not risking that same price, tying it up with finding another situation to hook it with. It's Colorado or pass in this one. I agree there should be goals scored here in this one, but for me, it's just about the Avs or move on.
Awesome there. And I apologize, Marco. I definitely didn't mean to steal any spotlights or jump in and speak too much. So I apologize for that. Just wanted to get that point across because I really do believe in that same mindset. You play a team too many times, be careful of betting on them on that last time. So if the Canadian government is watching this right now, I didn't get on a flight. I didn't fly to Vegas. I didn't look at Marco's notes. I'm still here. Still here in Canada. So the Ducks and the Wild guys, our barn burner segment. We're going to look at this game from a total standpoint. I'll keep it short and sweet and a little bit comedic maybe. I should have just bet the Ducks under all year long. Would have made a lot of money. Would have saved up for a lot of flights to Vegas to go see my pal Marco. Didn't do what I said I was going to do at the start of the year. And it's just the fact that I wasn't having my radar on them enough throughout the year. I did bet some unders on them. The Wild, I said this to you guys on the last show or a couple of shows ago. The Wild go over against teams with a winning record. Against teams with a losing record, they seem to go under the total. That's my lean here, guys. Not an official play. Under 5.5 here. Carm?
Yeah, I like the under 5.5, Andrew. I'm going to throw out a prop bet at you. This is one I'm not telling anyone in the chat to actually play, okay? Because I played some exact scores in soccer. But yes, the Ducks are having trouble scoring. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in 7 of their past 10 games. And the Wild are 5-1 against them this year and 5-1 to the under. This is what happens when these teams play. The Wild still have something to play for. They still have eyes on a possible second spot in this division. They're sitting in third right now. So I'm going to take the under here, and I'm going to throw a prop at you, Andrew. Exact score, Minnesota Wild 4-1 at plus 1,000 odds. That's 10-1 on your money. Minnesota winning exactly 4-1. How's that?
Did you have a call with Gary Bettman earlier today and tell him you needed a score line or what?
I don't know who I want to get into an
earlier today.
I don't know who I want to get into an octagon ring more, the Prez or Gary Bettman, because one of them's ruining the NHL and the other one is actually in charge of the NHL. But you figure that one out.
Awesome, Carm. Good luck with that, man. 4-1. I'll take that for my under, and I'm sure Minnesota fans will like that as well. Marco, where are you going in this game?
I'm going to the under too. And Andrew, I want to address one of the things because you've mentioned it a couple times, and it's a good point. But I want to give you some reasoning why that occurs. I feel you talk about we've seen more overs with the better teams playing one another. And then you're seeing unders where what looks like should be mismatches. And on paper or in theory, you see a big line, and you say, they're going to score a ton of goals. They're so much better and this and that. What happens is when there's that big talent gap, teams get out often to that quick 2-0 lead, and then it changes the way they play the game. Now you're just, right. Let's get this game over with. Let's dump the puck. Let's play, tight defense and so forth. Whereas when you got two good teams playing, they always have that chance of answering. And when they do answer, you got to keep scoring back and forth, and that's what gets you to those overs with the two good teams and a lot more unders with the bad teams. With that said, you're looking at a bad team. Anaheim, if they have won 2 of their last 3 games this season, they're 0-11 in the next game.
Wow.
As far as the total goes, Anaheim's been dominated by Minnesota. They're playing with triple revenge. And over this season, if they've lost 3 straight to the same opponent, how about 11-4 to the under in that game where they're trying to get the revenge? And here's another one. When they're on the road, you talk about they have trouble scoring. Well, when the total is 5.5, which we know, those 5.5s are, low totals, you would think there'd be more overs. How about this? Anaheim, 15-4 to the under when they're playing on the road and the total's 5.5. Yeah, I'll make it unanimous.
Wow.
Under the 5.5 in this one is where I'm going.
Unanimous decision. Love it. And Marco, yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I agree with that reasoning there. And that's kind of why I've looked at unders for the last game of these kind of 3-game sets. And I used to be so opposite, Marco. I had a lot of my 5% plays last year were betting overs, after a road trip for a team when they played a few games in a row. But like you said, once you beat a team so many times, or once you can beat a team, you'll get 2 or 3 goals and say, hey, that's all I need. I'm good. This team isn't going to score 4 goals. So I completely get that. I understand that. And it makes a lot of sense. So hopefully we get that under on tonight's game. I'm going to go right back to you, Marco, for your show best bet and any promos you have for us. And you're crushing the NBA. So feel free to promote that. It's a hockey show. Promote your NBA, Marco.
Yeah, if you want to jump off the ice and onto the hardwood tonight, head over to Wager Talk. I'll have it posted probably within the hour, my play for today. I've been patient with my releases. I don't rush to get it up, but it's worked well. 31-10 against the spread, guys. Just an insane run. Check it out. In all of the plays this week, guys, I've had underdogs every day. Not only have we covered the spread with those underdogs, we've won the games outright. So whenever you can call the outright underdog wins, those are always fun. So head over to Wager Talk. Check it out for today. My best bet for the show was the game we did at the beginning of the show, and that was Dallas and Tampa. I'm going under this one. Here's a little stat on Dallas. When they're playing on the road after a blowout loss where they lost by 4 goals or more over the last 2 seasons, obviously, you get embarrassed like that, you're going to come focused in the next game. 9 times it's happened last 2 seasons. They are a perfect 9-0 to the under. We're on Dallas, Tampa, under the total. And as I said, Dallas can't score right now. So that's just an added bonus for us with this total.
All right, Marco D'Angelo, find him at wagertalk.com. Obviously, co-founder of Wager Talk as well. Dallas, Tampa, under 5.5. Carm, what do you have up for us, man? Let's finish this week off on a great note.
Yep, I'll make some quick notes. I'm disappointed. It is Curtis McElhinney confirmed for Tampa tonight, but I still like Tampa, as I said. A couple plays up in soccer for this afternoon, and we already started the day with my clients with, believe it or not, a parlay winner that paid at 5-1 odds. Some games up for NHL, 3 games up on tonight's card. 5% play loaded for the weekend in soccer. Those have been going extremely well. Lifetime 60% at Wager Talk, over 174% bankroll gain. With those, my show best bet, and then one more promo. My show best bet is going to go right back to that Philadelphia game. I told you that I had a couple different ways of playing this game. I'm taking, obviously, the team total over 3.5 for Washington. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 minus 130 as the show best bet. Let's see some early goals, hopefully by Washington. And a promo, guys. I'm already giving away to one of you guys in chat, one of you guys on our PuckTime Twitter account, so make sure you follow that and me there, a retro jersey at the end of the season. If you buy Andrew's playoff package or my playoff package in NHL, which you get the rest of the regular season and a $100 coupon, which is good for any package 30 days or over. That's $199 for that package. All your names will go into a drum, and I will pull one out, and that person's going to get a retro jersey of their choice. So a little extra incentive to follow along during the playoffs with Andrew and I.
Can't go wrong with that deal there. That is awesome. Carmine, always very generous and killing it right now across the board in all sports. I'll keep it short and sweet. My best bet is the Arizona under 5.5. You know, this team has struggled right now. They have not looked great. We have two great goaltenders in between the pipes tonight. One young guy, and we have one veteran. So I'm looking at it. The Sharks right now, they came off a game. They scored more goals than I've seen them score in a while. I mean, it was only 4, but they looked electrifying. They're getting a lot of shots on target. I think we have Darcy Kemper in nets tonight for the Coyotes, and I think that they'll be great shutting things down. They've now lost 3 straight. The Coyotes haven't looked good. Time for them to show some pride here in this game against the Sharks. And guys, I have a great deal up at wagertalk.com that will expire Sunday night. You can get every single play from me and for the rest of 2021. Like I said, expires Sunday night. $99 a month. $99 a month. It's all you're paying. $891 for the remainder of the year for 2021. I have won 32 of my last 40 wagers. I'm on a 29-10 MLB run and a 33 and 13 NHL run. So things have been unbelievable right now. This is probably the hottest I've been in my career with Wager Talk. Great time to jump on board. Special thanks to Marco for joining us. Happy to have Marco on the show. Special thanks to Carmine. Obviously, love working with Carmine. Everybody behind the scenes at Wager Talk. We don't do this show without them. I have the Yotes and the Sharks under. Carmine has the Flyers Capitals first period over, and Marco with the Stars and Lightning under 5.5. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck, and we'll see you on Monday.
For a limited time, purchase a 30-day all-access pass for the regular price of $349. And get a second 30-day all-access pass for free. For the next 60 days, you will get all plays released across all sports from your favorite Wager Talk handicapper, including 5% best bets for under $6 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 60 days won't begin until your current package expires. This offer expires Sunday at midnight. Don't pass up your chance to get 60 days of picks